District 8, so I am your Republican candidate. If you asked me a year ago if I would be standing here giving a political speech and running for office, I would have thought you were crazy. And as the themes have come out through the night, and I'll try not to be repetitive because we've had a lot of information and it is getting close to my bedtime, the government has gone crazy. The government has just gotten too big and out of control, and us normal people need to step up and make a difference. And all these things about getting involved, I can't emphasize that enough, that this is a crucial time. So the reason that I'm running and what I hope to accomplish is to improve the stagnant economy. We've got to get jobs, and bringing it right back to this district in Wilson, our unemployment rate is just unacceptable at 12%. It's higher than the state, and the state is really poor on the country level. We are the 6th highest state unemployment rate. So 6th highest in the nation is North Carolina. That's unacceptable. And a lot of that comes down to things that we've already heard, which is the tax structure that needs to change. So I hope to go to Raleigh and be able to make a difference and redo the tax structure. And that statistic about us being 44th in business friendliness, we can do a lot better than that. So we need to redo the tax structure, and we need to create jobs for Wilson and for all of North Carolina. My second priority is education, and we've heard already a lot about that, but we do need to completely revamp the system. Our teachers make such a huge difference. We need to get the money into the classroom, not into the bureaucracy. We need more local control and more choice, and we still need accountability. We need to have that, not just for the future of our children and our grandchildren, but it also ties right back into jobs. We need to have a skilled workforce, so it really all ties together, and it's really important. As we talked about the government, we've heard this before of the big government and the taxes and the spending and needing to change that. It's the bureaucracy, the regulations, the debt, the spending, and just the increase where government's gone beyond what we intend it to be in business and in education, and that also ties right back into healthcare, where we just have a real nightmare in our hands with healthcare, and we need to get it to be more affordable. The litigation in this country is an $800 billion business. It's twice as big as Coca-Cola and 50% larger than Microsoft. We got started last year in the legislation with tort reform, but we have a lot more to do. We need to get this Obamacare out of here, because my husband Lou Martin, who's a physician, will tell you that the regulation is overwhelming, and some of our local medical providers will be going out of business if we can't make changes. And I think those bureaucracies are true in a lot of small businesses, but we need to get them out of our business and protect that relationship and that freedom. So it's really those three goals that tie back into so many things, and our freedoms of better economy and jobs, education, and healthcare. And I want to just take a minute and tell you a little bit more about myself for those of you who don't know me. I have a business background. I have my MBA, and I worked for IBM for 12 years. My position there was in sales, and when I interviewed for the job, I said, well, I'm not sure I want to work for IBM because technology in and of itself doesn't really interest me. And that was an interesting approach, because they turned around and said, oh, but it's really all about the customers, all about the businesses and what they're trying to accomplish and where you could take cost out and make them more competitive. So the job was to work with a lot of different companies, really big companies, small companies, a lot of different industries, and go in and see where was there opportunity for improvement. And then to go back into a complicated environment and craft a solution, hardware, software, services, consulting, thousands of business partners, present it to the customer, cost justify it, that it was worth spending millions of dollars that we were dealing with, and you would actually save money or come out better, and then implement it. So in my role, we were paid for results. We figured out what the problem was, we came up with a solution, and then we made it happen. We weren't paid to just talk about it. So it's that kind of mentality of breaking through that I think will help me as I go into Raleigh and see there's a lot of places where we can make improvements. I also got to see the benefits of when it made sense for something to be centralized and not repeated at hundreds of offices around the field, and when they said, oh, we're from headquarters, we're here to help, it was really not advantageous, and they were just a layer that was getting in our way. that same thing is true in Raleigh and in Washington, but I'm talking about the state level here. There are things we can do at the state that will really help us and be distributed out, but there are other things that we need them to just get out of our business and let the local people do, and I think I'll be able to discern that. I have experience as a mom. I have 2 teenage daughters, and maybe why I'm getting back into the workforce or getting back into different things. And they're both in the public schools. I'm a volunteer and a PTO vice president at the Toys Not Middle School. I've worked with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I've been active in my church and community. And I've just had an opportunity to get to know a lot of people in Wilson and understand what's important to them, that they're here, they work for their life, they don't live to work, and we want to give those freedoms back to people. So that's a little bit about my background, and I'm very excited about this race, this new district. It's not a give me, it's not a redrawn in any unfair way to be Republican, but it is a critical seat for North Carolina, and it is definitely up for grabs. The incumbent is not running again. It will just be myself and Mark Bibbs in the general election, and we can win this. And this is a very fair seat, and we need to take this one as a Republican. We all hope that Pat McCrory will take the governor position, but if he does not, we need a few more positions in the House to be able to have the veto power. So I hope that you will come behind me and support me and come beside me, as some people have said. We're not going to be behind you, we're going to be beside you all the way, and that's what I hope for. So thank you for your time tonight.